Oh, hi. Thanks for joining us here at the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. Our next guest here on Go Local Live is a pop singer, dancer, amazingly talented guy who is going to be performing at the PVD Fest coming up in June. And he's coming to us live via Skype in Vegas. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm a little jet lagged. I've been up since 3 a.m., but I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. So, you have been doing so much lately. You have performed with Lady Gaga. You have had your videos on MTV. You're touring. You have all these programs that we'll talk about a little bit later. You're really making a name for yourself as an indie pop artist. And I would love to talk a little bit about how you got your start. Where did your kind of love for music come from?
I think around 11 or 12, I realized, from watching award shows, maybe watching a little YouTube, that writing music, being a recording artist, doing concerts could be a job. That could be your job. And I don't think I knew that until around 12 years old. So once I knew that, it kind of became my focus from then on. So there wasn't much going on in the small town that I grew up in, so I taught myself how to dance. I taught myself how to sing and perform until I was able to move to New York City and really start studying with classes and different teachers. But I definitely, at the age of 12, middle school, beginning of high school, is when I realized that's what I really wanted to do with my life.
I'm shocked to hear that you didn't get your start like in dance class as a little kid, because you're an incredible dancer. So you're like self-taught, or did you kind of get into like some classes later in life?
I did. I took my first class when I was 19.
Wow.
And it was just normal life to me. When I was 12, when I was in high school, boys did not go to dance class. It wasn't even a thought that entered my mind. It was a thing that girls did. Girls had the recitals, girls went to dance class. I don't know if it's different now, if it's more accepting that boys will take dance class when they're in their teens, that it's okay. But for me, I just didn't think it was an option. So it wasn't until I moved outside my hometown, came to New York City, and saw, everyone from all over the world was taking class in New York City, and I wasn't going to stand out. There were probably 20 other guys in the same class that I was. So for the most part, I just learned every dance I could in my bedroom, just really trying to perfect what I could alone until I did get in class and realized, okay, I have a lot to learn.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I think for the kind of younger children, it is still like a girl thing until you get older into like the more professional world. I mean, I think you see a lot of male dancers now, obviously working professionally, but definitely as kids, it is a little bit like a girl thing. So yeah, maybe that's something that should change, because like you said about music, that is definitely something that could be somebody's career.
Yeah, and I actually do think it is changing with more choreographers that come out, with more shows that come out that are dance-based. I think kids can watch that in their preteens and tweens and think, oh, okay, there are guys that dance, they do it for a living, that could be me. Just when I was growing up, I did not know who that person was. I did not have a male figure that was a dancer that I could look up to.
Yeah.
It was all women.
Yeah. Well, it seems like that's sort of your story, kind of doing things on your own, kind of figuring out who you are and sort of making it happen on your own. You're really known for these high energy, high performance, dance-oriented performances, and I think what's really incredible about it is this is all you. Like, there's no major label kind of pulling the strings and making this all happen for you. You're literally like writing everything, co-producing or producing everything. You're doing the choreography. You're setting up your tour dates. I mean, it's crazy how much of this is coming from you. So what is that experience like for an indie artist, like to have to do all those jobs and wear all those hats?
I think it depends on the day you ask me, because there are some days when I feel like it's the only way I could be doing this. If someone was telling me how to dress, what to sing, what I could and couldn't say, how I could act on stage or off stage, I would feel constrained. I would feel like anything but an artist. So in that respect, I feel if you like my music, if you like my videos, if you at all connect to me, you are connecting to me because it's all coming from my heart and it's everything I believe I put in my music. On the other hand, would it be easier to have, a booking agent or someone else to drive me when we're on tour? I drive us to all of our shows all over the country.
Crazy.
Yes, it would be, but I learned a long time ago, if no one was going to stand up and say, I'll do it for you, I was going to have to do it myself. And at this point, I don't think there's anything I wouldn't take on myself as far as my career goes. So if I have to co-direct my next music video, I will do that. If I have to choreograph it, I will do that. And I'm glad because labels come and go, managers come and go. And if I hadn't learned how to do it myself, I think I would feel less than. I would feel almost like I couldn't make it on my own. And I know I can, so that's an empowering feeling, really.
I mean, you're lucky because you're able to be good at all these things. I mean, I think that it really takes somebody with the ability to not only be good at all these individual jobs, but also be good at doing them at the same time. Like, how do you not allow all of those things to interrupt your creative process? Because at the end of the day, you are the artist. So your art and your creativity is really the most important thing. So how do you sort of separate that?
Actually, I'm reading a book right now called Originals, and they made a great point in it that said, you have to make time every day to be creative. I think for most people, it doesn't just come out of thin air. You don't all of a sudden think of a great lyric for a song or come up with some great choreography and then it's done. So I have to make sure I space out a few hours every day to be creative. And something may come of it and something may not. But if I don't do that, I will get caught up in the business side of what I do. I'll be that manager, that booking agent, and then months will go by and I haven't been creative. So I've learned that I have to set aside time to be creative. And it sounds counterproductive that you would force yourself to be creative, but it's what works for me. And something inevitably comes out of that time that I spend in the dance studio, in the recording studio. Something good will come of that time.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you just need to have a lot of discipline when you're handling so much. You created a 9-part docu-series kind of documenting this whole process of being an indie artist and doing all these things by yourself. I thought that was really cool because it gives your fans sort of a peek into everything you do. I mean, if they didn't love you before, they're gonna love you after they see everything that you're doing, like behind the scenes, to make this happen. One of the things that you talk about is your inspiration for songwriting, where that kind of comes from. So tell us a little bit about that, like kind of your inspiration for the content of your songs.
Okay, I just write about what's going on in my life, and that could have spanned, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 days ago. Every song I write is about what I've gone through, or what I've seen someone gone through, or what I'm feeling at the moment, or what I hope will happen in my life. So that's all I need to do. I just need to get in a room with my producer, we'll lay down a track, and then the song will kind of write itself for me. If the beat is really heavy and high, obviously that's going to be an up-tempo, positive song. If it's a more mid-tempo track, it might be moody, it might be darker, it might be more inspirational for other people. Sometimes I write songs that I can listen to inspire myself. Sometimes I write a lyric so I can look back on it and think, okay, yes, you can do this. You do have the strength to get through this dark time. So sometimes I even listen to my own songs to feel, inspired, or feel like I've gone through it before, I can get through it again. So it just depends on the mood I'm in, what I'm going through in my life, and kind of where the melody may take me.
And you mentioned the sort of dark times and being able to cathartically write about those things. And it seems like those dark times kind of inspired another project that you have created, which I found to be really, really cool. I saw it on your website and I immediately contacted you.
Cool.
Tell us a little bit about this program that you developed for basically the school-age kids.
Yeah. Well, it's an anti-bullying campaign. It's called I Stand with JLiNE. And it started off it started off with my need to, in a way, give back and also let kids know who may be going through it themselves that they're not alone. Because I know when I was going through it, when I was a teen, when I felt that nobody could see me and no one understood me, that I was the only one. I'm the only one who's ever gone through this. And so I knew if I shared my story, it might inspire someone else. So it started locally, in New York City, and then it started expanding to, New Jersey, Connecticut. And at this point, 5 years later, I've been to almost every state. I've gone to 1,000 schools, literally 1,000 schools, about 1 million students that I've talked to. I put on a concert for them of my music with my dancers. And then after the show, I talk to them. I give a speech about how I went through some dark times when I was their age and how I got through it. When I found music, when I found something I love to do, that's what really propelled me forward and pulled me out of the dark times. And I try to relay that message to them. I don't know how to control a bully. I don't know how to stop a bully, but I do know how to control myself. And I do know that I don't have to take what they're saying to heart. I don't have to believe the negative things they're saying about me. And that is my message. And that's what I hope kids take from the show, that you have control over your destiny, your future, your life, and how you deal with the difficult times that you may be going through. So, it fills me up. It makes me feel like I'm doing something positive. And when kids talk to me after the show and let me know that they don't feel alone anymore, it makes it all worth it. Yeah, really.
Yeah, I think it's so incredible. I love that you came up with this idea to sort of have a different tactic on getting through to kids. I think that people think about like these assembly programs, like, okay, like let's bring all these kids to, and someone's going to talk, they're going to be in their little suit and tie and talk to you about being a grown-up or something. But that's not your tactic. Like, you go in there with your dancers, with your PA system sometimes, and you put on a show. You're actually like performing for them. I'm assuming that at some point they kind of lose this idea of it being like something official, and they just have fun.
Sure. Yeah. That's my hope. I definitely give a 3-minute speech beforehand to let them know it's okay to clap. You're not going to get in trouble. They booked us because they know I'm about to sing and dance. It's okay. So we're here to have fun for 30 minutes, and then afterwards I'm going to talk to you about what I've gone through. So I try to lay down the groundwork of what the show is. I want to set the mood and let the kids know it's okay to clap and sing along. We need that. We want you to have fun. And I think after the show, once they're all hyped up and they're screaming and they're yelling and it's fun, they're open to receiving the message that I have. I think if I did not perform, they wouldn't be as open to hearing what I have to say. But once I hopefully win them over with my music and my performance, then their ears are open and they want to hear what I have to say.
Absolutely. It's like your way in. It's like your way to crack that kind of shell, which I think is probably what's going on. Like you said, it's a very isolating feeling to feel like you're different. So to have someone, come and just be like this cool, talented person who is sending this message, I imagine it's a lot easier for these kids to take that on,
Yeah, I hope so. The feedback I get says that's true, so that's why I'll keep doing it, because I really feel like I'm helping people.
What has been the best part about doing this program, and what has been the hardest part about doing this program?
Ooh,
I'm getting the juicy questions now. I know. Watch out.
I guess let's start with the hard part. I guess the hard part would just be the touring, the hours and hours of driving from show to show. Sometimes we get up at 3 a.m, drive all day, do 2 shows, and then drive all day after that to get to the next state. So it can be long, long days on the road, on the highway. And then you get to the gig and you try to hype yourself up so you can give all you have to win over this audience that may have never heard of you. So it can be exhausting. That's the only thing. Touring can just take a lot out of you. But the best thing has been feeling like, the best thing has been feeling like what I went through was for a reason. When you're a teenager, when you're going through it, you think, why am I going through this? Why do I have to walk into what feels like, hell every day of my life. Why am I going through this? And now I know why. So I could empathize with people that are also going through it. So I can reach out my hand and say, I totally understand what you're going through because I went through the exact same thing. And I think that's why they connect with me. I'm not just spouting out some story. I'm telling you one of the things that I felt such shame about for so long in my life, but it actually made me a stronger person and made me the person I am today. So I think kind of healing what I went through has been the best part of me. When you help others, it helps you heal. I didn't know that would happen, but it has helped me heal what was a very dark time in my life. And now I look back on that time and don't feel so sad about it, so despondent about it.
That's awesome. I mean, I think that's a really strong message, and I think that you are probably helping a lot of kids out there who had kind of nowhere to turn. So I think it's an amazing thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, you know, you're a busy guy. You have tour dates coming up this summer. Fall season is sort of like your time to go through the school system. Quickly, I wanted to put this out there. If a school wanted this at their school, how does that happen? Is it something you choose? Can they submit or something? How does that work?
Yeah, I actually have a, so if you're interested in me as a recording artist, meaning my albums, my videos, that's JLiNE Music. But the assembly program is a whole other website, a whole other thing going on, and it's JLineDanceCrew.com. So they can go to JLINE dancecrew.com and anything they want to know, recommendations, referrals, what happens in the show, it's all there on that website. So they can contact me through that website, and then we go from there about setting up a booking.
Awesome. All right, so you're coming to Providence. PVD Fest, you're going to be performing. PVD Fest is going to be June 1st through the 4th. Do you know which date you're going to be performing?
Yep. I'm going to be June 3rd at 8 p.m.
Okay.
The last show of that day, so June 3rd at 8 p.m.
Okay, you guys have got to go check him out. Have you ever been to Providence?
I have. I had a friend that went to Providence College a few years ago, and I go to Rhode Island about once a summer, Narragansett, just kind of as a tourist. But I've been to Providence about over a dozen times already. Yeah.
Great.
I love it there.
Good. Well, we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this. Again, I think what you're doing is great. I'm sure a lot of people out there agree. JLineMusic.com.
Thank you so much.
JLineDanceCrew.com for the school assembly program. Come check them out at the PVD Fest. It's going to be an amazing show. I can pretty much guarantee that. And thank you again for joining us.